Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center. Man, as you can see by the title, we're going to be taking another look at that 2025 recruiting class coming out of the state of Louisiana. And for this video, we have Mr. Corey Adams Jr. He's a 6'4", 235-pound defensive lineman that played for Edna Carr High School. He's an Ole Miss commit. I only seen one offer on his 24/7 sports page, and that was from Ole Miss, obviously. And whenever I see that, in my mind, I always assume that they might have offered him, whether it was a camp or whenever they did make the offer, and he pretty much verbally committed right away, or, committed whether it was verbally or not right away. And other teams probably was like, well, he's already committed, so we're not going to even bother trying to, persuade him otherwise. We're just going to move on from it. 24/7 Sports has him ranked as a 3-star recruit with an 87 player rating. His high school athletic background, it shows that Corey Adams only played football for Edna Carr. So, with his frame being 6'4", you would have thought maybe he possibly played basketball. But on his 24/7 Sports page, it just had him playing football. So Gabe Brooks normally does an evaluation, but he didn't do one for Corey Adams Jr., so I kind of just did my own. And pretty much all I said was that Corey Adams Jr. is a 6'4", 235-pound defensive lineman who played for Edna Carr High School. He was a part of that 2024 state championship team. With his long, rangy frame, on plays that he can't get to the quarterback, he can use his long arms to try and swat the ball down, as seen watching his highlight tape. We all know that every play you're not going to be able to get a clean shot on the quarterback. Sometimes you're going to kind of get blocked good, especially if you're getting double teamed. But being able to kind of identify, well, I'm not going to be able to get to the quarterback on this play. Let me just jump up and try to swat the ball down, and you just never know. And, hey, sometimes I've seen guys even go up there and get an interception doing that. He's going to have to pack on more size playing on the next level if he wants to be a real threat, especially playing on the inside. I also love his high effort that he gives, whether he is bursting straight through the O-line and the running back now becomes a side-to-side runner, or there's a broken play and the quarterback gets out the pocket looking and try to make a play, and he's right there pursuing him the whole time. So I love his high effort, and I love his ball pursuit as well. So, normally how I do, I speak about like some plays that stood out to me. So the first play that stood out to me was, and it might have been the first play on his highlight film. He was lined up on the outside as an edge rusher, and he did a good job at anticipating the snap and using his long arms to engage the offensive lineman, and then shedding him, throwing him down to the ground completely and closing the distance between him and the quarterback, leading to a sack. On this play, he showed his pass rushing ability, active hands, and burst and acceleration to close the distance between him and get to the quarterback to get a sack. And even if he didn't get the sack, it still would have been a QB hurry, because the QB would have had to try to get rid of the ball to not get a sack. So that play stood out to me. Like I said, once again, it's just high effort, and then even just ball pursuit, man. Second play that stood out to me, as a defensive lineman, you want your defensive lineman to be able to make plays in the backfield. Obviously, making plays in the backfield 9 times out of 10 means that it was for a loss or they didn't gain nothing at all, whether that's sacks, batted balls, or tackle for losses. There was a play where he was able to anticipate the snap, and the offensive line barely was able to get a hand on him, and he runs completely through the offensive line and hits the running back in the backfield. That was one of the plays where I was saying, I don't know what was going on. I think that it really was him anticipating the ball, anticipating the snap, because, he ran free from the running, straight through to get to the running back. Now, it could have been a different blocking scheme where their point of attack could have been this particular area, and that's where they was focusing on. But him just pursuing the ball and him just being a playmaker, he was able to get back there and make a tackle on the running back. So even now, this is something that really deserves to be highlighted, and that really stands out too. This kind of gives you a summary. If you're familiar with Louisiana's high school football, especially the 5A select, division, non-select, and all that stuff, this right here really speaks volume to how good of a player he is, because we know that when you see a dominant performance like we did in the state championship game, it's not just one person. It's not just the guys that's the highly recruited guys. It takes a team effort from, the coaches to game planning, but then from the players to execute. So if you go look at the state championship game, he was a part of a defense that was able to take one of the top offenses in the state. Now, man, I watched pretty much all of Ash games this year. And a lot of those games, Ash just looked unstoppable offensively. It just looked like whatever they wanted to do, they was able to do. I always bring up what they was able to do against Washita, man. I think JT had like 3 touchdowns and 100 yards rushing in just the first quarter. And I was like, wow. But they had to, and they was able to take one of the best offenses in the state with, in my opinion, the best running back in the state in JT Lindsey, who's a 4-star LSU commit. And they were able to hold that offense to only 8 points and a running clock on top of that, but only 8 points in a 53-8 win. And they were able to keep JT Lindsey out of the end zone. Now, JT did end up with 100 yards rushing that game, but I think it was for like 30-something carries. So for the most part, Carr did what they had to do to keep him in check and keep him in line. And I think a lot of that was gap control. And who was in the inside? Corey Adams being one of them, and another one being, I think Richard Anderson, I believe that's his name. The guy, he's going to be the other guy. He's a junior now, but he's going to be a senior next year. But he's an LSU commit. So that was them plugging up the middle, making JT a side-to-side runner, and we wasn't able to see the dominance that we seen from him all season. So I think that stands out to how effective he can be. Now, like I say, going to the next level, most definitely he's going to have to pack on more size to be more effective, because especially playing the SEC, because he's going to Ole Miss. Now, I would note something too. Something else that stood out to me was another play. I'm glad I just not thought about it. I didn't get a chance to write that one down, but it was a play where he came through he got pressure up front. He was able to he got blocked to a degree. But in the process of him getting blocked, he was able to grab a hold to the ball carrier's jersey. And when he grabbed the hold to his jersey, he was able to slow him down, and that led to him being tackled. And that's something else that we always talk about when we talk about defensive linemen. We always speak about being able to have that grip strength, because we, like I always say, idealistically, you're not going to always be able to get a clean shot on the quarterback or the ball carrier. So sometimes just being able to see, recognize, engage the offensive lineman, see where the ball carrier is going, and reach your arm out, and he has long arms to do it, and grab a hold to something, whether it's the jersey, shoulder pad, and slow him down to lead to him either you pull him to the ground or lead to hold him still for everybody else to rally to the ball and we bring him down as a whole. So, that was kind of one of the things that stood out to me as well. But, man, that's it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, man, make sure that you got that notification bell turned on. I think it turns itself on automatically, but just double check, because you don't want to miss no upload, man. And I'll see y'all in the next video.